Record.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, welcome to Happy Chaos, Father's Day edition.
I thought that was about to tip. That was like an old man move, but like it felt like this. It did. It felt. You ever feel like you're like going down?
Yeah, and you did dad catch in the middle of it.
Sort of, but I was like, don't knock the table. Like my mind was like, don't knock the table over. And you ever do that? Like your mind's eye like see something really quick. Like in my mind, I just saw like everything tip in.
I think I do that all the time, and I get laughed at.
Hey, I'm back.
Oh goodness, I already broke something this morning, y'all. Our good tripod.
I mean, to say like she broke it is.
I dropped it. I dropped a piece and
it broke. But we have a backup and we're here and it's all good. The mics decided not to work again, but we have a backup. And so
it's always chaos. Happy chaos.
I thought it was all good this morning. I mean, it's just, little things. I don't think you can ever do anything without expecting little things, right? Mm-hmm. And one day there will be a whole tech crew of people who can do the things.
Powder my nose and
the tech crew's gonna powder your nose?
No, I mean a makeup crew. I was just kidding though, guys. Wow. I'm not. I know I come off bougie. I get it, but I'm really not bougie. I do everything on my own.
Y'all want me to tell one of those Kelly stories? Just right off the bat. You know what I'm about to say, don't you?
Do it. No, I have no idea. I really don't.
So the other day, I don't remember why I said it to Kelly, but I went, okay, Spice Girl. And she said, when I was a teenager, all of our friends, we named each other
after the Spice Girls.
After Spice Girls. And I said, which one were you? And she said, what do you think? What do you think she was?
Are you going to leave it for them to answer?
I think they could get it after what you just said. She was Posh Spice. Oh. And I just looked at her and I went, that tracks.
I was a lot less bougie then too. Seriously. Posh Spice.
No, same bougie. Hey, we're here with a special episode here on Happy Chaos. If you don't know, you're here for the first time. Kelly and I are a blended family, widower and widow, who have found each other. The Lord brought us together, and here we are with 9 children not in our direct house, as our 2 oldest have moved out, but 7 others still live here in the house. 9 children total, granddaughter. What a special time.
Yes.
That this is. We just got married 6 months ago yesterday.
Yes.
And today is Father's Day. So Father's Day episode coming at you. I think today Kelly gets to ask me questions and I get to...
Interviewee.
Yeah.
Interviewer.
Interviewer.
And you're the interviewee.
Is that a word? Interviewee?
Yes, it just became one if it's not already.
I mean, when I say it that way, you had to question. Interviewee. Interview, like employee, interviewee.
I think it's a word.
Maybe it is.
I don't know. But before we start, we're going to do Kelly's favorite thing. I sing the song usually, so I think you should sing it this time.
How's it go? Something about mail truck or something?
You're just doing this so I sing and I'm on to you.
I don't know how it goes though.
Babe, I sing it every time.
What is it?
Nope, not doing it.
All right, well, it's mail time. And by mail time, we mean comments that you leave us on Facebook. Why Facebook? Because Facebook is where most of the comments come in. Mm-hmm. That's why. If most of the comments came somewhere else, we would read them from there.
Yeah.
But these come from Facebook.
And they're so much fun. This is my favorite part of the...
Allison Lane says, I'll be in your gifting problem, Kelly. Well, so we'll talk about this in a minute, I'm sure, in this Father's Day episode. But Kelly doesn't have a spending problem. She has a
gifting problem.
And she said she was going to start a little gifting problem group. But I think then you guys would just buy each other gifts. Anyways.
Although I don't want gifts. So, and I want to address that really quick. I don't know if it might be in this comment section, but I'm not sure. I'll wait.
Yeah, we'll get there. Okay, yeah. All right. She says, I love to give gifts, and not just any gifts. I love to buy personalized little gifts, and sometimes they can get pricey.
Mine don't get pricey.
Yeah,
You may as well say that I shop at the dollar store.
that is not accurate. What Kelly is trying to say right now. Kelly loves to give personalized gifts. She
It's my favorite.
Yes. And like every gift has like a little meaning. And I had to learn that. I had to learn that, for me, if I see something that makes me think of someone or that I think they like, I can just get a gift and give a gift for that sole reason and be totally happy with that. And so like if they, so in my mind, I just give it and it's over. But I learned early on with Kelly that she likes to for me to react because of the sweet little parts of
Not put it away in a closet and not be able to find it and wonder if you threw it away. But that has never happened. So, y'all, I used to send him friendship boxes. Best friend box is what I called it when I lived in Florida. Every month, I would send him a box of all this fun little stuff, like, I don't know, just all this little stuff that had meaning, and it brought my heart so much joy. And I get it. He probably just it didn't bring him the joy that it brought me to buy all the stuff. Like, I was so excited, like, he's gonna get a box in a couple of days and he gets to unbox all this stuff that means something, his favorite candies, something I saw, something he.
Well, you know what we're realizing. People buy gifts of like what they want other people to do for them. I think that's what, like, I don't.
You say that.
I don't think.
But I look at all your favorite things, like your favorite candy or your favorite scent. Orange is your favorite color, and so I got little things of all that, like a candle that was handmade in Vero. And it had oranges on it, and it smelled like it had fresh orange blossoms. So I got him that candle. Which
Did you get that from the Dollar Tree? Tara Miller. Hi, Tara. We love Tara. Yes. She says, I'll be in your gifting problem group. Y'all, it's not a real group.
It is a group. We already said it was a group. I said I was making a group. In fact, I'm going to get on that this week in my busy schedule. And I'm
going to start another group?
Yes.
The gifting problem group?
Yes. It's going to be on Facebook.
Oh, my
I know.
goodness. Okay. I'll let you read next.
Catherine Cece. Looking back at my youngest years, I can say I had a big problem with spiritual warfare. My friends, family, my friends, co-workers. Now that I'm much older, I can say that things have greatly improved. I now have a relationship with our Lord and Savior, pray every day, and have seen my life getting so much better. I think this subject should be talked about more, especially with our young high school on up.
Yep.
Agree.
Yep. We
prepare for battle.
Yeah, we definitely are walking that and understanding of that. Even right now, our last episode was about spiritual warfare and that inside of a blended family. So
yes.
All right, Judith. I don't know if your last name is
good luck with this
mom or just if that's like Judith mom, like you're the mom. Yeah. I'm not sure, but the other part of this name.
Just try it.
Borgens. Borgens. Judith Borgens. Boertj.
I bet the J is silent.
No, there's never been a silent J. I've never seen anything with a silent J.
Or it makes an H sound, like in Spanish.
There's a silent J in pneumonia, I believe. That was funny.
For a second there, I'm like, what? Oh my goodness. Dad joke. Da-cha.
That was good. I just commented on Spotify. What? I didn't see it on Spotify. I just commented on Spotify. I'd love to be in your group. Oh my goodness. I'd love to be in your group, Kelly. I didn't reread these. I don't think gifting could ever be a problem.
Agree.
Even when you do it to spend
we're going to be very
money you don't have. That's what she said. Even when you spend money you don't have.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we're gonna be very accepting in our group of this gifting problem that we have. We're not gonna judge each other. All right, you can go ahead with the rest of it.
I'm trying to figure out what the group's gonna do. Are y'all gonna get together and give each other, like, inspire each other? I just feel like at the end of the group, y'all are gonna, like at the end of other meetings, people don't do the thing that they went to the meeting. They go to the meeting to help them not do the thing. I feel like y'all are setting up this whole group for the wrong, like y'all are going to get together and then leave with inspired.
It's like a crafting group. It's not like an AA.
Oh, I see. It's like a quilting group. Yeah. Like you all come together, you piece things together, you order stuff off Etsy.
Yes. Send each other Amazon links.
She said when you give gifts spirit inspired, the Lord blesses it and provides. Well, I do believe that. And I know God loves to give. So us givers just have our daddy's DNA. Well, I totally agree with that. You know what? I will say that giving, I believe, like having a giving spirit, I think that does come from the Lord. Like I think the Lord gives us that. Like He gives certain people like a special spirit of giving. You know, other people like myself, I don't think about it. I thought I liked. Like in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, like my love language is giving, but I mean giving in a different way. Like I give, you know, you give little things like,
and you give like your time.
Yeah, like I give like time and effort, or also like if I know, like for me, if I know that you want something, then like I will make an effort to like save money and, you know, work hard, or like I will put effort into going and getting something that I know you want or need. That I don't know, it's just different. You know, for me, it's not like the spontaneous gift giving. Yeah. You know, for me, it's
you guys who don't want to be in our group, frivolous, I think is what you guys probably look at it like.
I want to use that word with caution because obviously I'm in the minority here.
You don't want to be the subject of our first group.
I don't want to be the subject of the first group. I don't. You know what? It's just not about like all jokes aside, it's just part of what I love about Kelly. Like it's part of her. It's part of her. It's part of her. Like it's what makes. If you were to ask me to describe Kelly, this will come out for the rest of my life. That you know, her gifting problem. I do think. I used to have a debit card that I could turn off and on, and I do wish I had that feature that I could just go and turn it off.
You're giving the people who don't want to be in our group fuel, babe.
We'll have to start our own group. Second jobs. We're gonna have the group second jobs.
Well, maybe in our group we can discuss ways that we raise money for our gifting problem.
Yeah, or couponers or something. Maybe you guys can discuss your coupons. All right, a couple more, and then we got to get on to our episode here.
Yeah. All right, Gretchen Payne Benningfield. Beautiful word. I've been clinging to Romans 8:28 for the last 3 months. I'm believing big. God is working. What the enemy meant for evil, God is working for our good. That's one of my favorite verses. It's been painful and wonderful all at the same time. We know that God sees the big picture and He is for us, not against us. Your podcast is a good reminder that God is faithful. I'm interested in knowing if receiving gifts is Kelly's love language. I'll let you answer that.
She claims that it is not, but I do not, like, I don't agree with her. I think that she likes to... I think people buy gifts for like what they wish that somebody would do for them. I don't even know that you like necessarily want stuff as much as you just like, I think when you were in Florida, if I had sent you a box, and I did, I remember sending you a Christmas box, like with Christmas gifts
for my birthday.
And we got on a video call and you were lit up at the box. Like you were, you know, you just loved the fact that there was a box full of
that you took time to.
And I remember, hey, y'all want to hear another little story? So I learned how to.
I'm scared.
This one's about me.
Oh, okay.
I learned how to wrap a gift with this. It's called a tuxedo.
Oh yeah.
And it's got, so the box is like got two little like V-shaped pockets. Kind of looks like a guy's jacket. And then it's got those pockets you can like stuff things in. And I think I took a little name tag or something and slid it down inside of the.
Yeah.
And I remember Kelly, you know, opening that, and she's kind of halfway swooning over this, like, you know, tuxedo folded box. And she's like, I don't even know if I can unwrap it. And so, you know, I don't think it mattered so much like what those gifts were.
Right, because I saved the tag on it that said to Kelly from Justin.
Yeah, I think you even said, you were like, you wrote that by hand. And So, that's my point is that like, I don't know that it's I'm not trying to imply like that Kelly wants a chainsaw. Um,
We haven't opened gifts here at the Walker household yet.
I'm not implying that Kelly wants a chainsaw per se, or that I would give her a chainsaw. What I'm saying is that like to receive a box in the mail with a bunch of little trinkets in it, that I thought of her when I saw them, she would love that. Now, am I wrong about that?
No.
Oh, right. That's what I mean. So
For sure.
is gift giving her love language? I'm trying to learn to speak it in her way. You know how there's like different dialects of certain languages? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're Australian, I could
Yes.
understand most of what an
Totally.
Australian is saying, but
Totally.
if they come, I'm trying to think like there's some words like I think they call a cantaloupe a rock melon.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like, if you came to me and said you wanted a rock melon, I'm like, I don't if I'm wrong about that and you're from Australia,
Well, our good grief.
yeah, you guys from Good Grief, Ryan, you can tell us if we're right about that.
Ryan and Kaylee.
Yeah, we'll be on the Good Grief podcast.
Probably this week.
Yeah, this week or next, I think.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, but like I think it's that way with gift giving. Like what in my mind, what I see is like I love giving gifts. Like to me, it shows that I love you. Here's a reminder of that. One time we were dating and Kelly needed tires. And she's a single mom with 3 kids, and I knew she couldn't afford them. And it was right at Thanksgiving. It was actually not this past year when we were engaged, but the year before that.
Yeah.
And so it was like Thanksgiving week. Actually, I think it was Black Friday, and Walmart had tires on this really great sale. And so they were like, I don't know, $1,500 worth of tires for $700 or something like that. And so, in my mind, like I was demonstrating to you how much I cared about you by getting you tires, and so I did. Like I bought you tires, and so in my mind, like that's gift giving, and so it's a different dialect, I think, of gift giving.
Yeah, for sure. Like my biggest thing is I don't want to give somebody a list. I feel number one like a burden, and I know that sounds silly to most people, but I do. I don't like to give a list because I feel like I'm giving you my grocery list. And I want to.
But she
Why
wants
did
a
you do
list.
that?
We were done.
No, we're not. I have just a couple more on there.
We're back to these. Okay.
Yes. We only read like 3.
I know. We gotta.
I know, we gotta move on.
It's Sunday morning. It's Father's Day morning. I have to preach.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, let me see.
Okay. I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought we were
that's
done.
okay.
We got interrupted because I shut that.
All right, Kim Reed Gilliams.
I think that's Gulliams. Like
I just wonder if
Williams,
I.
Gulliams.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Okay. I could be wrong. Kim, you can correct us too. We love to know your all's names. Actually, it really is fun in the middle of the week when we're like, oh, we were so wrong. Rachel Livaday. We were so wrong about hers.
Wrong.
Anyways, go ahead.
Ever since seeing your first video, I can't wait until Monday nights to watch them.
Oh.
For some reason, this episode reminds me of the day our 12, almost 13-year-old committed suicide, and all I could do is scream, I hate you, God. My family knew I loved the Lord and could not understand why I screamed this every day for months and months. The only thing I could tell them is why not scream it out loud when he already knows what I'm thinking. Although that was several years ago, I feel guilty about saying that. Would this be spiritual warfare? By the way, I yawned every time one of you did. We're so sorry, though, about your son.
Yes.
But maybe you can speak into her asking if that's spiritual warfare.
Yeah, I think that first of all, let's, and I know there's a comment on there that implies that it's not, but I would challenge that, and I would say that that's absolutely spiritual warfare. That it's absolutely spiritual warfare when, first of all, I think that suicide, and I'm sorry for those of you who have gone through that. I literally cannot imagine that pain. I hear people say to me all the time about being a widower, they can't imagine that pain. I cannot imagine. I can't imagine that. And so just know that our hearts break for you. And if I could give you one word of encouragement, I'm saying this as for myself, like I've just learned, like we just don't compare sufferings, like in a sense of sufferings, everybody is going through something and it is all hard.
Yeah.
And I think that, number one, I think that someone, I think the person who did that is obviously going through spiritual warfare. The enemy has come to steal, kill, and destroy. And the Bible clearly says that we are not fighting a battle against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities. And so when someone is having their mind drawn to the idea of ending their life, that that is spiritual warfare. And we can look for all of the y'all. I don't know where everybody stands, and I know a lot of you guys are probably here because we're widowers and widows, or because we've gone through grief, or because you just think that Kelly's laugh is wonderful, and you may not be in the same spiritual agreement that we are. But I'm just speaking for myself and saying that if the enemy is, we believe the enemy is real, and that he has come to steal, kill, and destroy. And we believe that God is the giver and taker of life. And whatever scenario in life that we're in, we are there and still breathing because God has a purpose for that. And so anything that separates us from that purpose, that I believe can absolutely be spiritual warfare. Now, hear me, spiritual warfare sometimes can be planting landmines. Okay, landmines are a part of warfare as well. And it doesn't mean that there's a soldier sitting there with a bomb waiting to detonate it. It's set, and then that way when you step on it, that thing goes off.
Yep.
And so, Satan loves to plant seeds.
Yes.
Boy, y'all, I should have said this in last episode, but, Satan loves to plant seeds, the seed of doubt, the seed of fear, the seed. He loves to plant that little seed.
Of discord.
And then you, myself included, we water and he plants it, and then we water it and watch it grow in our lives, and let it go further and let it go further. And anyways, he plants landmines to explode on us, things that will harm us, and that are not good for us. But then stands back and watches as we water it and we cultivate it for him. And so then I believe that in the same way, was God pleased for you to be angry at him? No, he's not pleased with that. God doesn't want that, and he wants you to come out of that, and I hope that you have come out of that. But God absolutely has big enough shoulders to handle that.
Absolutely.
And here's the good news: if you're in a place where you have said, "Jesus, please forgive me for that," you know what the Bible says? That if you'll confess your sin, he's faithful and just to forgive you of all unrighteousness. So there you go. There's what you do. If the Bible says he'll forgive you for all unrighteousness, then you can confess to him and you can say, Lord, I'm sorry that I did that. And if your heart is in that place of repentance, he will forgive you. And then you can rest in the forgiveness and say, I trust in what he's told me. Yes. Okay. We really do have to get on with this episode. So I'm going to give you one more, and then I can feel you we're coming off of the comments. Yeah. Maybe we'll have one episode where we'll just let you just read comments the whole time.
Okay. And address them. All right, but Brandy Lynn, my favorite Facebook couple. Thanks for the transparency. Spiritual warfare is so real, and so some days just so hard. Hopelessness and despair is often what I endure.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brandy.
Yeah.
Here's my one more encouragement for that. Hopelessness, there's a cure for that, and his name is Jesus, and he's the one who brings us hope. And you may already know that. Maybe you have a relationship with Christ. I'm not implying that you don't in any way. Just trying to give you if I knew something was helpful, I'd be in the wrong not to share that. And to know Christ is to know peace, and he is the cure for hopelessness and despair. He is our hope.
Yeah.
If Christ was not risen, then we would be of all men, we'd be most pitiable. But he is risen, and so we are people of hope.
It's just easy sometimes to get hopeless, like we both have experienced that after the death of our.
Yeah, I hope none of what I said there sounded like I was implying that.
No, I'm just saying we definitely have. We can relate. We've experienced that.
Yes, hopelessness happens in certain scenarios in life, and Jesus is the hope. I can honestly say that when I was at a place that everything else felt hopeless, I had faith and knew that there was hope.
Yes.
Because there's this Christ, this Messiah who has saved me, and I knew that he had saved my wife, and I knew where she was, and I knew where I was going, and I knew that this wasn't the end. And so I'm just saying this. My hope was found in Jesus Christ and his righteousness. Yeah. So,
for sure.
Okay, well, thank you all for the comments. You can leave comments down below about Father's Day. You can tell us, because we've already talked about some gifts, and there was a little reel last night and everything. I would just say, let's just start with the comments of this. Like, what's your favorite thing that either if you're a dad, even though I don't see a ton of dads commenting, but if you're a dad, I would love to know from you, like, what's your favorite gift that you've ever received on Father's Day? And if if you've given your dad a gift, I would love to hear from you and say, like, what's your favorite thing that you ever gifted your dad or your husband or whoever on Father's Day? Yeah, tell us your stories down below. We would love to see them.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a few questions here
Yep.
that Kelly's going to ask me.
Are you ready?
I believe I am not ready, but I will try.
You were born ready. That's a bunch of.
I'm just quick on my feet.
Yeah, you are. You really are.
I'm like, well, I talk a lot. So we
That's
were
a good thing.
We were in an elders meeting. Well, not really meeting, but we had a dinner with the elders from church last night, and all the elders and family got together, and we were talking about church announcements, and we need to keep them brief. You got to you can't let the church announcements go on and on and on. Somebody said, well, Justin, can you get up there and help with that? And I was like, no, I'm the worst. I'm the worst offender. I talk so much. I'm so long-winded.
And everybody encourages it. Like, don't put a time on your sermon.
Right.
Let's just keep going. And I'm with him. Don't get me wrong. I am with him. Like, you could just sit all day and listen to him bring the Bible to life. And yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. But that would be a lot on him. And he's already got a lot.
I know y'all say that. And then I'm like, it doesn't feel that way. So,
all right. What does Father's Day mean to you now compared to what it meant to you before you became a dad?
Oh, what did Father's Day mean to me? Well, I mean, I think just first of all, just like before dad and after dad, that's been a long time for me. You know, I mean, I'm, 20 years.
So 20 years you've been.
Yeah, 20 years of being a dad. And I became a dad kind of rapid fire. I went, year one, I was married, and that was the only year that I wasn't, that I wasn't a dad. And then we brought in a couple of girls, and then my wife got pregnant. And so I went from 0 to 3 in 12 months and
of a 10-year-old.
Yeah, a 10-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn. And so, at the time. And so, life went real rocketed forward real fast.
Yeah.
And, I think that for me, being a dad brought fulfillment. I'm not saying that fulfillment should be found in anything other than Christ. And I'm totally on board with my hope is built on nothing less than Jesus Christ and his righteousness. That's a song, not a verse, but still, I'm all about that, but I'm just saying that there is a fulfillment for me in being a dad. Like, I love being a dad. And so I didn't realize that, interestingly enough, I didn't want to be a dad. Like, if you go back to when I was a teenager, I thought I was going to go die for the gospel. I thought I was going to be a missionary. I thought you can't bring kids into that. And I just didn't want, I saw kids as a responsibility that I didn't necessarily want. And sorry, kids, if you're watching that and think but I was 16, I'm 16, 17 years old, thinking to myself that, ministry and music were really important to me. And I loved playing music and writing music. And I loved the idea of serving the Lord and just doing whatever he called me to do. And I did not see kids in my future. And so that first year that I was married, I remember coming home one day and there was my wife crying. And I'm like, what are you crying about? Like, what is wrong? And she's like, I want to be a mom. And I'm like, we can take care of that. Like, that's an easy one. And, I think when I knew that her perspective changed, it changed my perspective of desiring. I think it initially for me started with that. Like, hey, if she wants to be a mom, I don't want to take that from her. That's a big thing. I don't want to be the one that keeps her from that. So that was one thing that kind of changed it. But then as I became a dad, then, there's just a fulfillment that I didn't realize was going to be there. So I guess that's my answer. How would I say it compares? I would say that it, being a dad brought a purpose, helped me to have some purpose in life. maybe I could say it this way. Maybe it helped me to have some purpose that was like beyond myself. You know, like I, it's one thing to say like I want to go out and serve the Lord, but it's hard to do that without any sort of ambition, without any sort of selfish side of that. I'm just being transparent. Like, you know, there's kind of a weird thing that happens where I feel like all humans do this, where we kind of take the thing that we want and we kind of intermingle it with the thing that we think God wants from us. And then we think that the thing we want is what God wants. And I think that's also where a lot of disappointment comes from when we realize, oh, that's maybe not what God wanted for us. And that's funny. Like, I won't tee off on this too long, but that was my story about becoming a pastor. Like, I never wanted to become a pastor. It's funny when I think back to that. Like, I never wanted to become a dad. I never wanted to become a pastor. I actually was angry at church for about a year of my life, 18 to 19. I was so mad at church, I vowed I'd never go back. And so, you know, the Lord has...
Now look at, you're the number one pastor.
I don't know about number one.
I do. And number one dad of 9 children.
I am a pastor, and I have 9 kids, and who knew? So okay, right. There you go. There was my answer.
Question number 2: how has your experience as a father changed after grief and remarriage?
Completely. I mean, we're saying the words say your experience. You're saying how's your experience changed as a dad? So, you know, early on, I was, and I'm still busy, but I was very busy back then. So let me explain to you how busy I was. So I started in Bible college the same time that I brought my girls in. I started in Bible college in September, brought my girls in January, and I knew I was trying to get the girls, like, I take that back. When I started Bible college, I did not know. I got the phone call from out of state about my girls. I got that phone call in October. So I started school in September. In October, I got the phone call. And I remember I called a pastor friend of mine and I said, hey, I've had this phone call and we're thinking about doing this. You know, we got a phone call from CPS and they said that I had an opportunity to take in these girls. And he said, Justin, if you do that, you will never finish school. So you better make your choice. Do you want to go through school or do you want to take in these girls? To this day, I think he meant, you know, like, don't take in the girls because you won't finish school. And I remember getting off that phone and I thought, you know, the Lord says true religion is to take care of widows and orphans. And I was like, you know, if it means I'm not going to go through school, if I'm going to stand before the Lord one day and say, well, I finished school, I finished seminary, or I took in these girls that needed a place to go, I'm going to stand before the Lord and say I took in these girls. And if that means sabotaging the rest of my, you know, whatever's coming from this ministry or whatever, I guess that's what it'll be. I remember saying that. And so, so we chose to take in the girls. But anyways, I mean, so I had just started in Bible college. And I was driving, you know, down to Boyce College here in Louisville. So I was driving like 45 minutes every day, 3 times a week. And it was the same year we had just started a business. So I was, you know, newly married, within a couple of years married, and had just started a business with my family, had just started at Bible college. And I had just bought a house. I had bought a house when I was 19 years old because I thought renting felt like a waste of money, which it still does. But, you know, owning a home comes with its own fair share of complications that I don't know that I was completely ready for at 19. So, you know, I bought a house, I got married, bought a house, started a business, went to Bible college, took in 2 girls. And then my wife comes to me and says, honey, guess what? I'm pregnant. And, you know, it's funny that Full House stuff keeps coming up. Do you know what she did that first time she wanted to tell me? She remembered a Full House episode. We've been talking a lot of Full House. The kids have been watching Full House. But anyways, there was a Full House episode where Becky tried to give Uncle Jesse all these like baby things, like baby carrots, baby this, but to like get him to notice. And she wanted to do that to try to, but it wasn't working. So she was just like, guess what? You know, I got to tell you. So, anyways, yeah, unobservant me. So I'm telling you that to say life was very busy and I was distant, and I didn't love being, you know, at first things you just can't, you're forced to do certain things. And so you do the things you're forced to do, just because life was new. And, you know, so I I'm not saying I was totally distant. I'm just saying life was so busy. I mean, I remember working, we had started a new business, and I remember there being times we didn't have any money. And then there was this big job that we could finally, get a paycheck, and so, and I'm not talking like anything monstrous, but it was like, if we do this, we can take a paycheck this week. And so, I would work 70 hours in a week. Like, I mean, you could talk to my parents and my brother about that. I mean, those days are um, distant. They feel so long ago. But I mean, I remember, looking at the work week, at the end of the week and going, we worked 75 hours this week, or we worked eight. I think the most we ever worked was like 96 hours in one week, and plus then I had homework and I had reading and writing to do. I was a and inside of all that, I didn't even say I was a youth pastor. So, anyways, life was very busy, and I was actively trying to come out of the busyness and focus on being with my family, and struggling through that, because that's just hard. It's hard when you're in that routine, that multi-year routine of, always working. And so I was actively trying to be present with my family. And that's when Sarah got sick. It's 2020. And so, even in the middle of 2020, life had slowed down in the sense of like we were forced in shutdowns and things like that. But our business was deemed essential. We were making masks, and don't come at me at the mask thing in either direction. It was a means of making money. We were scared, and everybody else was, and we had fabric, and everybody who was making homemade masks needed fabric and templates and elastic. We were the only people in Kentucky, and actually for a while we were about the only people in the United States that had elastic. We'd bought a box truck of elastic. Did you know that?
No.
My brother saw it coming, and he was like, people are going to need stuff for these masks. And we contacted all these companies, and they were like, we don't have it, we don't have it, we don't have it. And so we finally get this guy, and he's like, well, we'll sell it to you, but you have to buy it by the truckload. And it's like literally like, imagine a box truck full of what looks like spaghetti, but it's elastic. And it had gotten ruined. I was not planning on telling y'all the story, but I'll just tell you. The elastic had gotten ruined. And it's supposed to like come with a little tab, and you can pull the tab, and you can just keep unwinding, cut off what you need, and imagine like a huge box truck full of it, and you can just keep pulling from one location the way that they've wound it. Well, this had gotten messed up, and it was all tangled together, and you couldn't find an end. And so we told everybody that we had elastic coming. People were emailing us, writing us, whatever, saying they wanted this elastic. Well, we got it, and we're like, this is ruined. We can't use this. Well, we were going to try to like send it back, or, whatever. And we got on Facebook, and we were like, hey guys, we're sorry. This is here's what we're looking at. And like, you couldn't find it. Like, we're stretching a piece of it up, and then it all falls back in. We're like, we can't, there's nothing we can do with this. And people started writing in, and they were like, please don't like sell it to us like that. We just need it. So we would grab it, and we would lift it, and somebody would take scissors or a razor blade, and we would cut all that, and it would like snap the back of your hand as you were cutting it, and then we'd take it and put it in a bag. And so you had little pieces like that, and like, big long 40-yard pieces or something. But there was no way to know. I mean, it would just take forever to go through that. But people needed it so bad. They were just buying it so we were just taking Kroger bags and stretch it, and we'd cut it and stuff it down to the grocery bag, and then people were buying that from us. Anyways, I'm saying all that again, like you can hear it again, like there was this busyness of life. And so then after Sarah passed, when Sarah got sick, I cut everything off. You've heard me tell the story about church, and I won't go over that right now, but I'm just saying that like, I wasn't paying attention to being a pastor. I was preaching on Sunday morning, and that was it. I ignored the rest of everything else. And I didn't go back into our business. I didn't go back into Walker Fabrics. I didn't know what I was going to do. My family was very gracious and helped us through that in a financial way. But life changed in the sense of like my perspective changed. Then when she passed away, the brevity of life and how quickly things are passing by. And do you want to let those things pass you by because you were trying to make a paycheck? Do you want to let those things pass you by because you were in the middle of a project? And the answer for me is no. And so it's still a difficult balance, but definitely like I put way more effort now into making sure that I have stopped, like intentionally stopped. If I go 2 or 3 days that we haven't had a dinner together here at the house. I'm like, no. Like we're going to have dinner together. I don't want to go out. I would tell everybody else no. If we have something else, cancel that. Like, and you've seen it. Like I get really serious about like, we need to have dinners together. We need to have game nights. We need to be out in the backyard playing together. We need to be, swimming in the pool together. Like, enjoy your time with your family because life is so brief.
I agree.
There you go. We only made it through 2 questions. I told you I'm long-winded.
What are some of the biggest challenges of being a father in a blended family? I feel like we kind of just touched on this in the Good Grief podcast.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I would say, but challenges of being a father in a blended family, I would say, I think the challenges are probably, I don't think there's, like when you get something, when you like order food, you hear something and it's like, wow, like that sounds like, it sounds something different. And then you get it and you're like, that is not shocking. That tasted like, sometimes you get something and it's all mixed up and you bite it and you're like, that is shockingly not what I thought it was going to be. One time we got some fish with blueberry on top and we were like, that sounds, and I remember telling Kelly when we were sitting in this little restaurant, I was like, if they put it on the menu, it's got to be something, right? And so we get it, and it was like special. It was really good, really. It didn't taste like, but then sometimes you eat something, and you're like, no, that just tastes like blueberry and fish. Like it's not, no shock there. Like it's not. It's 2 things I wouldn't want to put together. And I feel like the biggest challenges, those things that are challenges, have not been shocking. It's like, what I would have expected. Yeah. I feel like, those things that if I looked at it and say, well, try to put, 4 new people into a household, there's space challenges and there's emotional challenges. And, there's just that getting used to each other. I think that's the phase that we've been at for, since we got married, just getting used to being in the same home. And you're literally just, I don't know any better way to say it than you're kind of mapping, you're kind of mapping out, like when you're in new territory, you begin to map it out and you say, like, even if it's just in your mind's eye, you begin to map it out. Like, this is where things are. And I think that, as a family, it's a challenge. It's not a bad thing. It's just a challenge. It's something you have to work through, is that you're mapping it out. Like, you're learning when everybody goes to bed, and you're learning what routines are. And like, here's a silly example. Like we were late dinner people. We had dinner at 6:30 at the earliest, 6:30. And sometimes we were eating dinner at 8:00, and you're an early dinner person. And so, you come in and you're fixing dinner at 4:30 in the afternoon. I'm like, why are you fixing at 4:30? So we can have it at dinner time. And I'm like, when's dinner time? 4:45? Like, and so just, that's a silly example, but it doesn't bother me or anything. I'm just saying that you're learning that you're mapping it out. You're mapping out your day and mapping out your house and, who's going to be where and when, shower routines. And, one that I've not really had much is, bath, or at least not in a while. My kids haven't taken baths in a long time. They want to take showers, and y'all are a bunch of girls and you love your baths. And so, take a bath, you eat up the room for a while. And so just learning to kind of navigate all of that.
Yeah.
There's been a few times the younger girls have come in and say, can I take a bath in your room? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then they get in the tub. I'm like, oh, they got my bathroom, and they're in there for like 45 minutes or an hour, or, whatever.
Yep.
And you're like, well, you shouldn't have told them yes. So,
but we have the cool bathroom.
Yeah, we do. We have that fun light.
Yeah. And speaker. All right. How about some encouragement for those who are dadding in a blended family?
Oh, here's my encouragement. What you're going through is probably not that abnormal. Like I just said, the things that we're going through, I think are normal challenges. I don't think you're going through anything abnormal. I don't think that the frustrations are abnormal. I would just encourage you to rise above them. Like, take a deep breath. Remember that if all of it was to go away, you'd miss it.
Mm-hmm. That's what I just told our kids. They were fighting in the back seat. And I said, it was just fighting. And I said, you gotta stop for a minute and just think, if you woke up tomorrow morning and the person that you're fighting with right now is no longer here, are you going to be happy with the conversation that you just had with them, with the way you guys were treating each other?
Yeah.
You won't be.
Yeah.
I think that's a good piece of advice for everybody.
Yeah. So, I would just say my encouragement there, I'm not trying to be a downer about that. I'm just trying to say my encouragement to you is to say it's probably not abnormal what you're going through. And, my word of encouragement for you is that, presence is so important. And so just don't forget that, don't think about if you're stuck on, I can speak for myself. It's going down. I knew that was going to happen. My encouragement for you goes like this. If you feel like you're failing or you're not doing good enough or whatever, just, be present with your family, be present with your kids. And, smiling makes a difference, laughing makes a difference. Do the things, and they may not always reciprocate, and that's okay. That's where dad jokes come from.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to make I mean that in a metaphorical sense, but I mean, in a way, like it kind of is like you're the guy that's trying to bring some life and calmness to the situation.
Yeah.
And so, don't think that you're failing just because you were trying to have a good time and, everybody's in the car getting on each other or whatever. I mean, it happens and it feels frustrating, but don't forget that, your kids will have those memories and they're not going to remember all the bad stuff. They're going to remember, but they are going to remember the way that you reacted and treated them, especially if you treat them in a good way. They're going to remember that, oh, even when we were in the backseat doing whatever, dad was always, this way. So anyways, my encouragement to you is just don't forget, how brief life is. And
yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to 1, 2 skip a few.
Oh,
just because I'm looking at the ones that I love the most.
Okay.
All right. I mean, all right. Yeah. How do you bring faith into your role as a father practically and day to day?
I think faith is lived. So I think, I don't in any way want to, I don't want to set up these kind of ideas like, tiered ideas of what one thing is that's more spiritual, or, I mean, there are things that are definitely more spiritual, but I think that, to put faith into your role as a father is lived. And so, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things that are not seen. And so when you live a life of faith, then your kids are going to see that. And I definitely live a life of faith. And so when I say that, like examples that are in my mind would be like, I want my kids to see that the things that I strive for and do, even if I can't see them. So just, here we go. Like an example, like, starting a business. Now, my kids were not, they were not all present when we started the business. Like they weren't born yet, not all of them. Some of my older ones were here, but even that, they probably don't really remember that, but they definitely hear the stories of like, dad and mom stepping out and starting a business. Or when we planted Salt and Light and we started a church, we started a church and we were, even for a long time, for 10 years, the church was really small and it was a struggle, but the kids got to see dad be faithful and still continue to be a person of faith. I didn't march around the house, upset or mad because we tried to do some event and nobody came. I mean, definitely those things can be discouraging, but then what I wanted them to see of dad was like, hey, we tried and it failed. And guess what? We're going to try for the next thing. And so I've tried to live my faith. And even here recently, the church grew and we moved the church into this big building. And then we've just started a school, this tuition-free school at the church. And, I'm hoping that my children, not hoping, I know that my children can look at my life and go, dad was a man of faith. He believed the Lord had called him to a work, and he did the work that God called him to. And so what I mean when I say that, that's the opposite of saying like, do I want my kids to see me praying? Yes. but I want to make sure that I'm living out the faith of those prayers, not just being the guy that's like, okay, guys, it's time to pray at 6 o'clock at night, or whatever. We pray before meals. We do pray with each other. The kids see you and I pray with each other.
I think a good example of that is, Jeremiah coming down last week and said, "Hey, I'd like to pray with you guys
over this situation."
Right.
Yeah. We had a situation going on, and my 17-year-old came down and said, "Hey, can I pray with you all about this?" And I think that that's a testimony to,
for sure,
my son seeing his dad live a life of faith, and so he knew that he could come down and say, "Can I pray with you about that?" And he felt safe to do that. So there you go. I mean, my answer to that is, how do I do that? And I think just in a practical day-to-day way is, faith it's the evidence of things that aren't seen. It's the substance of things that are hoped for. When the Lord moves on you and you act in faith, of different people, that looks different, for different things. But when you demonstrate that, and also I think like when mom was sick, and the way that we handled, mom being sick, and the way that we, our faith in that, our faith in, the Lord's going to pull us through. I think they see my faith. And of course, then there is the side as well. Let's talk practically for a second. They do see us pray. Like, don't flip that around and be like, oh, well, it's better to live it than to say it. But I never say it. And I like, they need to understand that you're not just, let me try to say it like this. Being happy-go-lucky is not faith.
Yeah.
And being what do they call it when it's like a poly, something like the name poly, it's like a woman's name. When you're like always seeing the good, like always try to see something happy.
Yeah. That's
not what I mean when I say that. Like, I mean that they need to see that you're not going to lose your faith in the Lord, that you keep faith in the Lord, not just that, oh, I'm happy even when it seems like maybe I'm supposed to be sad, because there have been times I've been just sad.
Right. Well, I mean, after she passed, yes, you grieved. Yes, you were sad. Yes, you even had bouts of depression, but you continued in life. You continued with your purpose that God has called you to. And so I feel like that's a big example of living your faith, and, living in, I mean, even the people who are following your channel and your show, I mean, it's them. They say the same things. Like, you're showing a great example of how to get through. Either, yes, there's grief, yes, there's sadness, but there's also, continuing in what God has called you to do. You're not just giving up on life, and it's a testimony. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. Totally. Yeah. I think that just trying to encourage that, like, it's not faith in faith, it's faith in the Lord. Mm-hmm. And that's what's important. And so, my encouragement to any dad out there to live by faith is to, like, your kids need to worship with you. Yeah. They need to pray with you. They need to see but they need to see you live it. Yeah. They need to see you live it, and they need to see you example, like do it. Yes. So there you go. That's my answer.
All right. So what's something you hope your kids will say about you someday?
It's funny, because I would say the one thing I would hope my kids would say about me one day is that he's a man of faith.
Yeah. I was thinking that when I read this.
I mean, I could probably come up with some humorous things or whatever that I'd want them to remember of me. Like,
Dad can do 100 push-ups.
That's literally what I legitimately want that. Like, I want my kids to be like, Dad was ripped, like that.
Yeah. Well, you're doing good there.
Right. So. I just want that, like, I want to be the guy that's like, I'm 60 and they're, in their 30s. Yeah. And yet I'm doing more pull-ups than them. Yeah. And then, but I want to get off the bar, and I don't want to say anything. I just want to be like, yeah, it was nothing. But I don't want to be grunting, and I don't want to get off and be like, dang, did you see? Like, I just want to do it like it was nothing, and be like, all right, now give me my Gatorade.
Put all 100 grandkids on your back and do some push-ups.
Yes. Like, I want there to be a picture of, like, all these kids piled up on me, and I'm like doing push-ups at, 70 years old or something. Yeah. Or, I mean, like, I don't know. I'd love to, like, here's his, like, 18-year-old grandson, and we, like, have a little jiu-jitsu match. I'll take him down.
Oh, Unless he takes Chris's classes.
Yeah, then that'd be different. Yeah, he can't be trained. He can't be a trained grandson. That's different. I gotta have an untrained grand. He needs to be unsuspecting too. I just tackle him every now and then. No, but I mean, like, you know, I wish I was. No, I don't really wish I was joking. I'm just telling you, like, that is definitely in the back of my mind. It's like, you know, I need to show these whippersnappers how it's done.
Yeah. Whippersnappers. I use that word a lot.
Yeah. So, you know, I hope that they remember me as like, dang, you could do a lot of push-ups.
Yeah. I think that will be. I'm just saying. All right. This, I think, one is going to be like my favorite.
Okay.
Question.
All right.
What's something lighthearted or hilarious? Lean towards hilarious here. That has happened recently in the happy chaos dad life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? The first thing that comes to my mind is our littlest. Yesterday, she's something else. She's a hoot, and what? I don't even know what you said that made her say this. We were talking something about being married, or, you know, mom and dad or something. We're sitting there eating, and I go to take a drink just like this, like take a drink. And when I take a drink, she goes, "Got to get those lips juicy." And the whole table just lost it. I mean, maybe it was.
And she just one after another was like shooting off with stuff at that point.
She was, but when she said that about you got to get your lips juicy. You know, like, then, you know, our 17-year-old daughter, she's like, ew, don't say that, you know.
And I think she looked at Jeremiah and said, "Well, you're gonna have to get your lips juicy too."
Oh yeah, then she kept on. Then once she realized that,
everyone was laughing.
Yeah, once the 7-year-old realizes that everybody's laughing, then they want to keep you laughing, you know, with the same joke, you know. So
She is.
Yeah.
Something. All right, you have any more funny stories of the happy chaos dad life?
You know, like, just I think that in general, just like the things around the house that, you know, you just kind of keep, at least for me, you know, I'm sure it'll be tucked away in my memory forever. You know, the things that it's just like, where did this come from? Like, why is this like this? You know, and so you know, there's lots of little things that I feel like keep happening that sometimes they even annoy me. Like, you know, I don't know if it's purposeful right now, you know, but I go in the upstairs bathroom, and it is like every time I go in that bathroom, there is a toilet paper roll. We apparently go through a lot of toilet paper. Number one, I mean, the amount of toilet paper rolls but they take the toilet paper roll. They don't even put it by the trash can. There's a mirror in the corner, and they, like a standing mirror, and they take the toilet paper roll and they put it in front of the mirror, which I feel like accentuates the roll, because now it looks like
For
two.
sure.
And so I like walk in and I'm like, why is there a toilet paper roll? So the other day I'm like, I'm not picking it up. I'm not picking up that toilet paper roll. I made actually a little video. It's a little reel.
So
and I
funny.
like, yo, that was real. Like the reel was real. But they both sound the same coming out of my, I can't say them differently.
You can't say them differently.
Okay, well, it was a real moment. Like, I really did go in the bathroom, and it was just over and over and over. Y'all, let me know if you've seen that video of me. I took the toilet paper roll and I threw it in the trash can. You just see my hand like throw it in the trash can. I was like, you know, instructions for some of y'all who need it or something like that. Like, every one of those things was real things that I was finding, but that toilet paper roll is the one that is killing me. Every time I walk past the bathroom, I'm like, there's a toilet paper roll in front of that mirror. Why do they do that? And so, anyways, the other day, I'm like, I'm not picking up that toilet paper roll. Well, daggone it, if I didn't go by a little bit later, and there's a second roll in front of the mirror. And I'm like, if you're going to put it in front of the mirror, it's the same.
I think they're messing with you.
It's got to be. Right? Like, there's a trash can the same distance away.
Yeah.
So why would you put the roll there and not just put it in the trash can?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways, I don't either. But I think I know who the culprit is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the youngest either.
No, I don't.
Almost.
Oh.
I know. Oh goodness. All right. No more funnies that you can think of.
I mean, I'm sure there's more. You've got me on the spot, so I don't know that I can
I
think.
know.
I'm sure they
See,
just.
not so easy on the spot, is
I just
it?
gave two.
I know. All right. All right. All right. What encouragement would you give to other fathers out there, especially widowers, stepdads, or blended family dads who feel overwhelmed and unseen?
I think that, you know, I'm gonna have to give you dad advice in the best way possible, and dudes just speak to each other plainly. And so the first one is, I mean, as far as feeling overwhelmed and unseen, you just need to know, like, that is dad life. Like, you take the burden, and 99% of the time nobody sees that burden. And I don't say that to fuss or complain. I just say that to say, you know, buck up, soldier, put your pants on, and like, it's part of it. You know, it's part of being a dad. You carry the burden that if you're gonna be a good dad, you're gonna carry the burden, and and it's going to be unseen. It's not just if you're overwhelmed or unseen. I think a lot of times I think that it's the combination that makes it feel tough. And so, you know, I'm not saying that to be discouraging. I'm just saying that, you know, it's a part of it that you're gonna feel the overwhelmed part. You know, there's this like, what is it? Just a picture, I think, like a post, and it's like a dad, and he's like shielding his kids, and he's got all these arrows in his back, you know, and but his kids don't, and that's the whole thing. Like, you know, you your kids should not share in your stress. You know, they shouldn't know that you're. I mean, maybe they can know in the sense of like a learning experience, you know, as they get older or whatever. But like when my kids were little and we were struggling financially, I didn't want my kids to feel
To feel it.
like I don't mind the fact that that it was like we can't afford that. I'm not talking about that. I'm
Right.
not saying I wanted to go buy something I couldn't afford because I had kids. I'm saying that, like, I didn't want my kids to feel the stress
Yes.
of us not having, you know, not having money. I can't remember what it was. There was something we needed at one time, and my son came to me. We were poor. We were so poor. And my son came to me, and he had his like piggy bank, and it had probably like $4 and, you know, coins in there or something. And he came to me and tried to offer it to me to help. I don't remember if it was something for a car that was broken or whatever, and we didn't have the money to fix it, and we were stressed, and he came to try to like offer that. And I just remember being broken over that. Like, I don't want you to feel that. You know, I want you to be able to keep your piggy bank and know that you can have your money for your whatever, and you don't have to try to contribute to the, you know, to the car fund,
Yeah.
or whatever. So, okay, but that doesn't feel encouraging yet. I'm just saying that is like a part of it. I think the flip side of that is, like, you have an opportunity to reach into someone else's life as a dad, even in a blended family. You have an opportunity that no one else has. You know, like, even if you're in a scenario where you have kids, or if you call them stepchildren, that's, you can do that. Like, we don't say that in our house, but I'm just saying that if you're in a household that says stepchildren, or children that are unhappy with you or whatever, you still, I need you to hear this, like, you still have an opportunity that no one else has. You can reach that child and impact that child, impact your family in a way that nobody else can. And just one proof of that is, notice, even if you've got like children who are angry at you, or who aren't listening, or being disobedient or whatever, notice that how often you, the dad, are the object of the thing that they want to be disobedient to, or the object of the person they want to be angry with. And you have to ask yourself, like, well, wait a second, why is that? Of all the people to be mad at, why be mad at dad all the time? And sometimes that's because you have that chance, you have that impact in their life. And so Bodhi Baucham said it this way. He said, for the dad that doesn't want to lead, he said, oh, you're going to lead. Now, you're either going to be a good leader or a bad leader, but you're going to lead. Like, God has given dads a special role that, you know, just ask yourself, like, why is it if you play a game, why is it dad becomes the guy to beat? You know, like, sit down and play Monopoly and everybody's against dad. And if you take that, you can flip that around and do the poor, pitiful me thing, but it's not. It's the, you know, it's understand your role, like, your dad. And so when you're looking at your kids, they're like, for them, it's a it's a feat, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
we beat dad, and you're like, why did you want to beat me? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
Monopoly. Why are we trying? Why is everybody against me
Mm-hmm.
right now? But you know, like you're the guy to beat because you're also the guy that gets looked up to,
Mm-hmm.
and you're the guy that sets the example, and you'll set that example whether you said it good or you said it bad. Like that part's on you. But my encouragement there is to say, what a special thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
how many people would love to have the role to impact someone else's life, but they don't have an opportunity.
Well, give
So
the example of Sophia too in school.
yeah, I think that's a great example.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you tell it. I've done all the talking.
All right. Well, so my second second youngest, how do I say that I brought into
Middle.
the marriage, middle,
Your middle daughter.
my 11-year-old that I brought into the marriage, she was in 5th grade, and I had the two littles in our church school because at the time I was a dating mother, and had to do everything on my own, and so it was just a beautiful blessing that came into play at the right time, so I could put the girls into that school. And they started in September, and November he proposed. Well, his my 11-year-old's teacher came to me a month after he proposed, and she said, I have got to and she's got tears in her eyes, and she's like, I've got to tell you how important a father is, and his role in life is that Sophia started in September as this super shy, would not raise her hand to answer any questions. She wouldn't interact with anybody, just super shy, kept to herself. And when she got called on to answer questions, would like kind of panic and not want to speak. And she said, but the day Justin proposed to me, she said she saw a completely different girl. She went from this quiet, reserved girl to now, after marriage, being the girl who is writing her own stories, 11-year-old writing her own stories, and asking the teacher, can I please get up in front of the class and read these stories to everybody? I mean, she said the confidence, and she's just crying and she's telling me this.
I thought we were talking about the math. She told me how much better she was doing in math. I thought you were talking about that.
That's funny. But that's another.
See, that's the different male brain, female brain. Like you're into the writing, and I'm like, her math came up like she was talking about like she was really struggling in math, and then after I came in, I like
But that's part of this story. It's all on the same speech that the teacher was giving us. She said that his influence, I mean, even just the day he proposed, there was a security that happened in Sophia that she felt her worth. I mean, her worth skyrocketed. Yeah. And I think that dads need to realize that how a dad feels about his daughter, and it affects her self-worth.
And I want to be careful not to teeter into the, I think that I used to say it this way. Some of you guys are not going to like this. Some of you ladies are not going to like this, but it's true. Like, I think sometimes on Mother's Day, moms get triumphed. And if anyone said anything, about things moms do wrong, especially on Mother's Day, you would get eaten alive. But especially church, I put this on like a church level. Go to church on Mother's Day, and if there's a Mother's Day sermon, it's going to be, how special.
Mother is the staple. She's the backbone. She's the heart.
And then Father's Day, go to church, and it's like, you wretch, pick it up and do better. Don't be a punk. And so I just want to say, like, as an encouragement, my line is to say, like, as on an encouraging side, like, look at the opportunity you have. Like, take that as an encouragement. You have an opportunity to make a difference in someone's life, and you do make a difference in someone's life. Now, what you do with that part is the part that you have to choose wisely. And, but that's everybody. But like you are, how about I say it like this? You've inherited a role, a dad, stepdad, married into the family, not married, single dad, any of those, you still have a role and an impact that you can make on a person's life. that nobody else in the whole world can have that impact. Other people will have a impact. Don't flip that around and say, oh, well, their coach had more of an impact than me. Don't let the enemy get in your ear and tell you that. Like, you have an impact for your kids. You have an impact on your family. You have an impact that nobody else can have. It's a special role that God has designed where you can reach into your family's life in a way that nobody else can. You can speak into your family's life, and you can set the example for your family's life in a way that nobody else can. So that's my encouragement for you. Well, y'all, I have to go and preach a sermon, and so I have to be ready for that. You all will get to see this later. It takes a little bit of time for these things to get through the YouTube system and upload and whatever. But when you see this today, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you all.
And just a word of encouragement for those women watching that have lost the dad to their children, and or if you've lost your father, and today is not such a sweet day for you guys, but the Lord is good, and we have a heavenly Father that is so faithful. Like, even though I'm living through the restoration part of that, I spent 4 years not living in the restoration part of that. And I mean, seriously, seek the Lord in your most troubled, sad times. Seek the Lord, because he truly is a loving and giving God, and he wants to restore you, and whether that's in the form of a new marriage, or new marriage equaling an earthly father for your children, or if it's just restoring to your heart to a place of acceptance and knowing that he takes care of you. But he does. Like, he took care of me in the way of providing another husband, and he took care of me the 4 years that I didn't have a husband and the girls did not have a dad. And so I just really encourage you to seek him in these times of pain and hurt.
Yeah, I feel really impressed for just a moment to just say two more scenarios. If you're in the scenario of somebody who's lost a husband or dad, and today feels like a day that hurts, that's okay. Like, that's natural. It's natural for. I mean, I remember Mother's Day coming around, and I'm like dreading. I remember that we had Mother's Day at church, and they were doing this thing for moms, and I didn't go the first year. I was like, I'm not going to go to that. I'll go and preach today, but you guys won't see me until nearly 11 o'clock, because I don't want to take my kids. And then, everybody, they're all coloring pictures for mom in Sunday school class. And my kids are like, what do we do? And so we just we didn't go that morning. That's okay. Okay. Like, listen, you hear what I'm saying? Like, that's okay. Here's my encouragement to you. Like, spend that time and remember the good times. Like, remember, if you're in that place that you had somebody that you love so dearly, and you've lost them, well, then you can take that time. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to grieve. And it's also okay to take that time and remember the good things, remember the time you did have with them, like that.
And share memories. Sit with the children and share memories of your favorite Father's Day, your favorite moments with Dad. And
and what I'm trying to say is, instead of being stuck on the what you don't have, remember the thing that you did get, that you've received. You've received a gift, and that was good. And that leads me to just one last one that I want to bring up, and that's for the person that goes, yeah, but my dad hurt me. And I'm sorry for that. Like, listen, I'm genuinely sorry for that. And unfortunately, because dads have that special role, dads also have it is an opportunity for dads to hurt you. And when dads hurt you, they hurt you in a way that it feels different than when other people do it. Because the guy that should have protected you, and the guy that should have been there for you, and the guy that should have provided for you, and he didn't. And then there's a lot of hurt, and there's a lot of animosity inside of that. And here's what I would say. Here's my encouragement to that. For those of you who are in that scenario, then I would encourage you to look forward. Like, so you see what I'm saying? Like, the person that you've had that gift, a good dad and a good husband, and, then you can look back. If you've lost that person, then look back. And if you say, well, I never had that, I never had a good dad. And what I want you to do is say, okay, well, then I can look forward to a future that if I live my life in the Lord, give my life to him, focus on him, I can look forward to the future. Maybe you're somebody who you can, like, in the future, you can be a good dad, or in the future, you can Pray and seek that the Lord would bring a good man in your life who could be a father figure or who could be a dad to your children, and have faith. Like, be that person of faith. Like, look forward to what the Lord can do next. You might have a jaded and sordid past, and that's hard to work through. And it's okay to have those issues that come from that. But you can also look forward and say, okay, I'm going to look forward to what God's going to do next in my life. And how sweet will that future feel when you've gone through so much already. So there's my words of encouragement for you as we leave. Gotta go though, y'all. Gotta wrap it up.
Gotta run.
See y'all.
Bye.